Ever thought about what it would be like strapping a jet engine onto a bird? Kind of crazy, right? Well, that's kind of what we're going to be looking at today as we dive deep into evolution and innovation.
It's a really cool analogy, I think.
Yeah, and one is obviously nature's slow and steady hand, the other humanity's relentless push for progress.
Yeah.
But what happens when these two forces collide?
Well, it's more of a dance than a collision, actually. We tend to think of evolution and innovation as separate, but they're really deeply intertwined.
Interesting. So they sort of play off each other.
Exactly. And evolution, with it's like you said, slow and steady unfolding over eons, actually sets the stage for human ingenuity to even exist.
Okay, I'm intrigued now. So you're saying that evolution itself is what gives us the capacity to be innovative?
Exactly. Like, think about it. The human brain, with its remarkable ability to problem solve, is a product of evolution. And over countless generations, our ancestors developed larger, more complex brains. And that's what ultimately allows for things like tool making, controlling fire, and ultimately civilization as we know it.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be here recording this if we hadn't figured out fire.
Exactly.
So evolution is the key.
Absolutely.
It's almost like evolution handed us the tools, and then we took those tools and ran with them.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And, it goes beyond just the physical tools we think of.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Language, social structures, the ways we interact. These are all influenced by the innovations we create. It's kind of a feedback loop.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Each force shaping the other over time.
But evolution and innovation work on such vastly different timelines. I mean, it's like comparing a marathon runner to a sprinter, right?
Yeah.
So how does that impact their relationship?
That's where the tension is, right? Because evolution takes its time. Perfecting its designs over millions of years. Think about sharks. They've remained virtually unchanged for millions of years.
Right. Very effective design.
A testament to the effectiveness of nature's approach.
Exactly. It works. Why change it?
Exactly. But human innovation.
Yeah.
I mean, we went from the Wright brothers' first flight to landing on the moon in less than a century.
It's insane. It's hard to wrap your head around that.
It is.
That pace of change is incredible, but it makes you wonder. I mean, speeding things up can have some unintended consequences too, right?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Take agriculture, for example. It was a revolutionary innovation.
Yeah, about 10,000 years ago.
Yeah. Allowed us to settle down and cultivate crops.
Yeah.
But why do you think it also brought about issues like deforestation and new diseases?
Well, I imagine that disrupting those natural ecosystems, even with good intentions, you're going to have some ripple effects.
Right.
Unforeseen ripple effects.
Right.
You try to force a square peg in a round hole sometimes, and
that's a really good analogy. And,
yeah.
We see that play out with things like antibiotic resistance.
Right.
Antibiotics were a miracle.
Yeah.
Saving countless lives.
Right.
But, overuse has fueled the evolution of superbugs.
Right.
It's a constant arms race, and we're not always winning.
It's a scary thought. So even when we're trying to solve problems, we might end up creating new ones that we hadn't even thought of.
Precisely. And this tension isn't limited to just, biology or medicine.
Right.
We see it in the world of technology as well.
Oh, really? Okay. How does this clash of evolution and innovation show up in the tech world?
Well, just look at computers. We went from those room-sized, massive computers to the smartphones we carry in our pockets, all within a few decades.
Just crazy, yeah.
Rapid-fire evolution, right.
Yeah.
Driven by this insatiable desire for faster, better, more powerful technology.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, though, right?
Right.
You want the better thing, the faster thing.
Right.
Yeah. That's a pace that even nature would have trouble keeping up with.
Yeah, exactly. And unlike biological evolution, which is bound by the laws of physics and the limits of biology, technology can sidestep those constraints, right?
Right.
We can build bridges that span vast distances, create materials with properties unlike anything found in nature, and even send information across the globe in the blink of an eye.
It's insane. So we're constantly trying to outpace nature.
In a way, yeah.
Bend the rules of the game.
And while that can lead to some amazing advancements, it also raises a very crucial question. Are we moving so fast that we're disrupting that balance nature has so carefully crafted over millennia?
Yeah, I mean, are we even ready for the consequences of some of our most cutting-edge innovations? I mean, things like genetic engineering.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
That's a discussion for another segment, but you're hitting on a crucial point. Our breakneck pace of innovation might be exceeding nature's ability to adapt, and that's a situation with potentially, far-reaching consequences.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about after the break. We were just talking about how fast innovation is happening compared to nature's ability to adapt.
Yeah.
Like, are we pushing too far, too fast when it comes to things like genetic engineering?
Yeah. It's
I mean, we're talking about changing the very blueprint of life.
It is a powerful tool, that's for sure. And as with any powerful tool we have, to make sure we're wielding it responsibly.
Yeah.
Evolution is slow, it's iterative.
Right.
It's been refining life for billions of years.
But with genetic engineering, we could make changes like that.
Yeah.
Compared to these vast stretches of time that evolution operates on.
Right.
It's exciting and a little unnerving.
Absolutely. I mean, the potential benefits are huge.
Yeah.
I mean, we could eliminate genetic diseases, like completely eradicate things like cystic fibrosis,
Right.
sickle cell anemia from the gene pool.
That would be amazing.
I mean, that would be monumental.
What about taking it a step further?
Yeah.
Like enhancing human capabilities. Could we make ourselves stronger faster?
Smarter even?
It's possible, but, it's fraught with ethical considerations.
Right.
What does it mean for society if we engineer a generation of superhumans? Does it create a new kind of inequality?
Yeah.
A genetic divide between the haves and the have-nots?
Like a slippery slope, isn't it?
It is.
It's like the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
That's a great analogy. And it kind of highlights why it's so important to approach this with a sense of humility and caution.
So it's not just a scientific challenge.
Right.
It's a societal one.
Exactly.
We need to have these conversations about what kind of future we're creating.
Exactly. And those conversations need to be informed by an understanding of evolution. We have to remember that evolution isn't just competition and survival of the fittest.
Right.
It's also about cooperation, diversity, the interconnectedness of all living things.
That's an interesting point. So how do we apply those principles to genetic engineering?
How do we make sure this technology is used responsibly and not just for a select few?
Well, instead of viewing it as a tool to dominate nature or create the perfect human, what if we use it as a way to work with nature?
Okay.
Enhance the resilience and the diversity of life on Earth.
So shifting from a mindset of control to one of collaboration.
Exactly. That's a pretty big shift.
Yeah.
But imagine using gene editing to enhance the photosynthetic efficiency of crops.
Oh, wow.
So we can produce more food with less environmental impact.
Right.
Or what if we could engineer microbes that could break down plastic pollution?
That would be amazing.
Which is one of the biggest threats to our oceans.
Right.
Those are just a couple examples of what we can do with this technology.
Yeah, that's using it for good.
Exactly.
Not just for ourselves, but for the planet as a whole.
And remembering that we're not separate from nature.
Yeah.
But we're a part of it.
We're all connected.
Exactly. And our actions have consequences for the whole web of life.
So it seems like it always comes back to finding that balance.
Yeah.
Sweet spot where evolution and innovation can work together.
Exactly. And that balance is always evolving as we learn more about the complexities of nature and our own technology.
And speaking of evolving technologies, how can we ignore artificial intelligence? I mean, it seems like everyday AI is reaching some new milestone.
It is.
Pushing the boundaries of what we thought was even possible.
AI is a fascinating case study.
Yeah.
Because it's mimicking the evolutionary process.
Okay.
Constantly learning, adapting, becoming more sophisticated.
It's like we're creating a new form of intelligence, one that can evolve so much faster than anything in the natural world.
Right.
That's exciting and a little bit unsettling.
It raises those big questions, really.
Yeah, like what if AI becomes more intelligent than humans?
Yeah.
What happens then?
Does it become self-aware?
Right?
Does it see us as a threat or as a partner?
That sounds like something out of a science fiction movie. But now we're at the point where it could actually happen.
Right. And that's why we need to proceed with the same caution and respect for evolution that we've talked about with genetic engineering.
Okay, so let's talk about the potential downsides of AI.
Okay.
What are some of the risks that we need to be aware of?
I think one concern is the development of autonomous weapon systems.
Right.
Machines that can make life or death decisions without human intervention.
Yeah. That's a scary thought.
It is, and it could lead to an arms race.
Right.
And increase the risk of unintentional conflict.
It's not a new problem, though, is it? I mean, we've been dealing with this since the nuclear age.
It's a recurring theme, and it's why it's so crucial to have these conversations now.
Right.
Before we unleash technologies that we might not be able to control.
And what about AI taking our jobs?
That's a legitimate concern we can't ignore.
Yeah.
We're already seeing it happening in manufacturing and transportation.
Right.
But I don't think it's an insurmountable challenge. We need to start thinking now about how we adapt to a future where AI plays a bigger role in the workforce.
So preparing for those shifts,
Exactly.
investing in education, retraining,
Yeah.
so people can adapt.
Right. We can't just focus on developing AI. We need to make sure we're developing it responsibly.
Right.
So its benefits are shared and it doesn't create more inequality.
So using AI to empower humanity,
Exactly.
not to create a world where only a few benefit.
Exactly.
And it's important to make sure AI reflects the diversity of human thought and experience.
Well said. Diversity is essential for resilience, not just in nature, but in technology as well.
So we need to make sure that AI is built by diverse teams with different backgrounds, different experiences.
Yeah. And that brings us to the ethical guidelines for AI.
Yeah. What are some of the principles we need to think about?
Well, transparency is crucial.
Okay.
We need to understand how these systems are making decisions.
Right.
Fairness, impartiality, making sure they don't perpetuate bias.
It seems like we're entering this totally uncharted territory with AI.
Yeah.
And these questions go way beyond the technical. It's like, what does it mean to be human?
And this is why we have to have these conversations now,
Right.
before it's too late.
Before we lose control.
Right. We need to be proactive and anticipate challenges.
And shape AI's trajectory so it benefits everyone.
Exactly. We're at a crossroads.
Yeah.
And the choices we make today are going to have big implications for the future.
And that brings us back to the lessons of evolution.
Yeah.
Like adaptation is essential for survival.
Right. We need to be adaptable, change our thinking, our institutions, our technologies as AI continues to evolve.
We need to be open to change.
Yes.
To learn, to grow.
Yeah.
As AI changes our assumptions about the world
Absolutely.
and about ourselves.
Embrace the unknown,
Yeah.
but proceed with caution,
Right.
with a deep respect for that delicate balance of life.
We're in the middle of this huge technological revolution,
We are.
and it's forcing us to rethink everything.
It is.
Our relationship with technology, nature, even each other.
It's a time of great promise and great peril.
And as we enter this unknown territory, we have to remember AI is not our enemy.
Right.
It's a tool that we can use to solve problems and
Yeah.
create a better future.
Absolutely. But we have to use it wisely,
Yeah.
guided by evolution
Right.
and ethics
Right.
and a deep understanding of our own humanity.
Well, we've covered a lot today, from genetic engineering to the rise of AI.
We have.
It's clear that this interplay between evolution and innovation is really shaping our world.
It is.
But where do we go from here?
Right.
What does the future hold for this dynamic duo? It really feels like we've been on this incredible journey, exploring this dance between evolution and innovation.
Yeah.
From the very origins of life to genetic engineering and AI.
We have.
So as we reach the end of our deep dive here, what's the big takeaway?
Well, I think the main thing we've learned is that we're not separate from nature. We're a part of it.
So it's not about conquering nature, it's about understanding our place within it.
Exactly. We're products of billions of years of evolution, and everything we do affects the web of life.
Yeah.
We have a responsibility to use what we know and what we can do wisely.
So to innovate in ways that benefit us and the planet, that's a powerful idea. But how do we balance that desire to innovate and push boundaries with respecting that delicate balance of nature? How do we reconcile those things?
I think it starts with a shift in mindset.
Okay.
We have to move away from this purely human-centered view of the world
Yeah.
and start thinking more about life as a whole.
So instead of being the masters of the universe, we're just one part of this larger system.
Exactly. And when we look at it like that, it changes how we think about innovation. You start considering the long-term consequences, designing sustainable technologies, and respecting the planet's limits.
It's about being mindful, not just about what we need, but what all living things need.
Yeah. And it's also about realizing that innovation isn't just about making cool new gadgets.
Yeah.
It's about finding better ways to live in harmony with nature,
Right.
solving problems, and creating a better future for everyone.
So we're not giving up on innovation, we're just redefining it.
Yeah, aligning it with our values and the needs of the planet.
So it's about asking ourselves, what kind of future do we want? And using our creativity and our ingenuity to make that happen.
Right. The future is being shaped by the choices we're making now, the technologies we develop, the policies we enact, even how we live our daily lives.
Wow. It feels like a lot of responsibility,
It is.
but also empowering.
It is.
What can we do as individuals to make a difference?
You know, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the problems.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing is just becoming more aware.
Okay.
Aware of how everything is connected, how our actions have an impact, and the power we have to create change.
Right.
Awareness is the first step, and it leads to action.
So make good choices, support sustainable practices.
Exactly. Demand change from our leaders,
Yeah.
educate ourselves and others.
It's like taking responsibility for our little corner of the world.
Yeah, and working together to create a ripple effect.
And knowing you're not alone, there are so many people working towards a better future.
That's right. Connect with them, support them, join forces. Our fates are tied together. What we do today will affect generations to come. It's humbling, but it's also inspiring.
It is. We can change things. We can create a future that's better, more just, more sustainable.
We are at a crossroads, and the path we choose will determine the future of our species and our planet. But we have the knowledge, we have the tools, and we have the will to create a better world. Remember, the future isn't something that just happens to us.
We create it.
We create it. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep making the world a better place.